So this is our last video for renewable or sustainable energy. I just want to talk about transitioning to it, and then also something that's called the supergrid. So there's really three things that we look at. They're right in front of you. So we want to go from macro power systems, which just means a huge power plant that produces all the electricity for an area, and all that energy is transported through huge power lines. We want to change from that. We want to go to micro power systems like solar cells, wind, solar water heaters, solar cells on your house, electric cars, all that kind of stuff. So if we look at this picture here, we want to get away from using that one single power plant, and we want everything to be feeding into the system. So you have solar panels, they're going to put energy in, wind farms, solar cells, nearby area. If we get to fuel cells and hydrogen, and then you have like your micro turbines that are being used for commercial, industrial, and you see all the kickbacks going back into the system, rather than if you had one main. Oh goodness, that's terrible looking. If you had one main power system, let's see if we can just write one word on here. That means that main would have to send here, it would have to send there, it would have to send right here. Okay. We want to try to get away with that, because actually what happens is we can lose up to 15% of energy as it moves from a power station to a house. They usually say about the average is 6%, but long stretches down these power lines and into transistors and stuff like that, you lose a lot of the energy. Number two is just improve energy efficiency with everything. Appliances, the transport methods that we move this between one power station, or hopefully sub power station, to another, into houses, getting people on board with energy efficiency, better light bulbs, all that kind of stuff we've talked about. That would be step two. And then step three is using that transitional natural gas. And the reason for that is it's a cleaner burn. And a lot of systems can be converted from oil to natural gas very easily. And even propane, if people use propane at their house, you could switch that over to natural gas very easily as well. We can't just make a switch right away. We can't phase everything out right away, and getting rid of old technology and inefficiencies is very difficult because it's a high upfront cost. So we have to always keep that in mind, why people don't make the switch so quickly. So we need to try to do our part and make these small changes, and hopefully in the future things will be more efficient and more green, if you want to say that. Okay, one other thing I just want to talk about is something called the supergrid. And you might look at this and say, okay, well, these lines look like they're forever, right? So that would be a really long stretch of electricity. But what we want to think about is here, this is where you're going to have a lot of your wind turbines. Okay, down here, you're going to have a huge amount, and we have it already, a whole large amount of solar. And what we want to think about is if we can attach pretty much a supergrid. Let's say we're having a heat wave here, right? And instead of having a brownout where we lose all of our power, let's say this area right here isn't suffering that bad. Well, that electricity can kind of be sent over there, and it can provide greener energy and more energy for that area, rather than having a brownout because the power stations are working so hard that it's impossible to keep up. Okay. I'm going to be linking a few videos that we weren't able to watch on the PowerPoints. One is on hydrogen cells or fuel cells, and another one is on geothermal, just to give you a better idea of what's happening there moving forward. Okay, hopefully this helps. Thanks.